So I posted this video yesterday. You can find it at Heaven's Delight 2 on YouTube. The Millennial Kingdom. In it, I cover Grand Tartaria and Genghis Khan. Grand Tartaria was a blanket term for Europe and Asia. So Noah had three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japhet. So Magog are descendants of Japhet. So they are the ones mentioned in the book of Revelation, Gog and Magog, which happens to be just a rising of Grand Tartaria all over again. That's what it is. As you can see right here, Tartaria, Magog, Japhet, and a citizen of Grand Tartaria is an Aryan. So Genghis Khan, I'm not too sure and I'm pronouncing it correctly, he divided the kingdom into seven. And it's interesting because Japhet has seven sons. I get this a lot that Jesus' name is Jesus because that's a Greek interpretation of it, right? So you see the very top? Okay, you see Greece and Romans? Because I also explained that they were the ones, Grand Tartaria were the ones that were responsible for spreading Christianity throughout the world. What they spread was Christendom. And once you start studying the word, you're going to see a lot of loopholes in Christianity. There's a reason when Jah comes to gather Israel and Judah, that they will come together to fight the children of Greece and to liberate us from Rome. Adonai, are you going to free us from Rome now and restore to us as an independent nation? The same one that gave you Christianity that people keep on defending to me. I told you Christianity is a form of godliness, but denying its power. They also created Islam. So like I explained in past videos, the Grand Tutorial was erased from historical records. And they're behind all religions. I'm going to play for you again a clip, and he's going to mention all the nations they belong to Genghis Khan. And one of them is Hindustan, which is called India today. That includes Khasaria, the ones they're passing off as Israelites, who are identity thieves. And right there, God's enemies, Gog and Magog. I'm pretty sure that the G in Freemason is for Genghis Khan. And by the way, he was a white man, blue eyes and red hair. So he didn't look like this. I'm going to play for you a video of how he actually looked. And that also includes Buddha. Also in the book of Revelations, when he's referring to the churches, he speaks to the seven churches in Turkey. He's addressing the churches in Asia. It's referring to Grand Tartaria. The seven stars are the leaders of these seven churches. And you should know by now that stars are principalities. So these churches are all in Asia, better known as Grand Tartaria. This is from the Illuminati Pyramid. You see Magog right there, and next to it is Baal and Bosabal right next to it. Like I said, these are principalities. 1865, Grand Tartaria. Early Tartar flags, Russia.
There's been a lot of hype about Tartary lately, and what some are claiming is an effort to hide a significant chapter of human history. Up until the late 18th century, the great empire of Tartaria was a vast country located in northern and central Asia, stretching eastward from the Caspian Sea and from the Ural Mountains to the Pacific Ocean. It appears on ancient maps, had worldwide influence, and once was ruled by an Aryan nobility. Here we see a modern interpretation of Genghis Khan, yet in reality Genghis Khan had red hair and either green or blue eyes. The same way that the tall, slender, blue-eyed, blonde-haired Aryan Buddha has been transformed in modern times into a fat or sometimes rather obese East Asian man. Painted on the walls of ancient Buddhist caves, we can see the true origins of the ancient cultures of China, Iran, India, where blonde and red-headed monks wear Chinese silk with Persian patterns, complete with a dot on their forehead.
I see the red beard and red hair. It's a shame that these figures have all been defaced by people of other faiths at some time in the past. But it's very easy to see what they looked like, and we can tell who they were. He's got the red beard, Red hair, parted in the middle.
These Silk Road Aryans left mummies dating back 4,000 years, as well as swastikas predating Buddha by millennia, and predating any East Asians in China by at least 1,000 years. While some associate the swastika with Hitler, I would like to point out that this Russian swastika from before Hitler's time, before World War II, shows the swastika in the exact same position. That said, this is a United States Boeing aircraft with a swastika painted on the side. It seems to me that the evil connotation was not from Hitler, but from the winners of World War II, who seem to have something to hide.
Of Tarsa, the kingdom of Turkestan, the kingdom of Korsamians, the kingdom of Cumania, and all the way down to India. And here is the land of Armenia and the kingdom of Georgia. And in the kingdom of Georgia is a marvelous, strange wonder or miracle, which I would not have reported or believed if I would have not seen it with my own eyes. But because I've personally been there and been made an eyewitness thereof, I can say that in those parts there is a province or country called Hansen. It's about 3 days' journey, and the whole extent is all covered over with such thick and palpable darkness that nobody can see anything therein. Neither do they dare go into their land, because they know that they won't be able to find their way out again. Those that inhabit near it affirm that they have often heard the sound of men's voice crying, of cocks crowing, and of the neighing of horses in the wood. And because of the course of the river and things they see coming down the river, it appears that there's certain signs that there are people inhabiting therein. Now, supposedly this is Georgia, which is right down here between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, very close to Turkey. And 3 days' journey, of course, is not going to get you where there's to the North Pole where there's darkness. So it's definitely not talking about any type of North Pole or South Pole darkness. This is some kind of a supernatural darkness that's taken over apparently some area around here in Georgia.
This fire has been burning continuously since 1969. No matter whether it's raining, snowing, or windy, the fire has never gone out in 54 years and counting. Popularly known as the gates to hell, from a distance the pit looks like a portal to another diabolical dimension against the vast expanse of the empty desert. I'm here in Turkmenistan, a landlocked country in Central Asia, home to this Darvaza gas crater. It started in a man-made disaster when Soviet engineers were drilling for natural gas. They were not aware of the topography, and their equipment fell into a self-created sinkhole. There are actually several dotting the landscape, one with water and bubbles and another with a smaller fire from similar accidents. After the sinkhole formed, it started to release dangerous toxic gas into the air, and the engineers lit it on fire to burn off the harmful vapors. They expected it to burn for just a few months, but as of 2023, it is still burning strong.
Lies beyond the great mountain Belgian Minton in the histories of Alexander. And they lived like a brutish people without learning or religion, feeding herds of beasts and going from place to place to seek pasture. And not being exercised in arms, they were despised by other nations. And in ancient time there were many nations which by common name were called Mogli. Probably this is where the Mongolians came from, who upon their increase were divided into 7 principal sorts, and the first of the nation was called the Tartar, and from the name of the province where they first inhabited, and the second was Tangur, the third was Kunat, and the fourth Talir, the fifth Sonich, and the sixth Monghi, and the seventh Tibet. So the Tartarians are broken up into 7 different kingdoms. And according to Alexander, they are Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog. The book of Revelation is written from John to these 7 churches of Asia. Or you could say John to the 7 churches of Tartaria. So a lot of 7s in the book of Revelation. So interesting that these Tartarians are divided up into 7 different nations.
Again, there's the book of Tartaria and the so-called Star of David. No such thing as a Star of David, guys. That is a star reference for their star god. So you can see in this map how the Roman Empire is very close to Caesarea, because all these nations work together. And I'm going to also play for you a video how Putin gave him a map of all Tartaria. Because what they're doing is the rising of Grand Tartaria all over again. That's what they're doing. And for those that don't know, Grand Tartaria ran on AI technology. Nothing new under the sun. And it extended globally. Grand Tartaria is made up of Europe and Asia. The center, Kazakhstan. And the capital of it, I believe, is pronounced Astana. You notice how Russia's right above. Astana, Kazakhstan, capital of the New World Order. Turkey, China, and Europe. Interesting. So this is the flag of Kazakhstan. Eagle, sun. Isis, eagle, sun. They both represent her. Female and bird, same one, Isis. Roman eagle, American eagle, sun worship. So the final declaration was held where? In Kazakhstan in 2022. This is when the leaders of the whole world and religions got together. And Francis was the one that was leading it. To watch it, go to YouTube. And again, it was held in Kazakhstan. I'm not too sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, guys, so don't come after me. And obviously, these people are Muslim. Like I explained before, these Abrahamic religions, they all serve the same God. Notice how they all have the same head covering? To watch this full video, go to YouTube on the Stephen Darby's ministry. Title, Top of the Pyramid.
Safe and resilient and sustainable. Translation, ban all gun ownership by private citizens, concentrating guns into the hands of obedient government enforcers who rule over an unarmed, enslaved class of impoverished workers, criminalize living in most rural areas by instituting Hunger Games style protected areas. I told y'all when Hunger Games came out, I said, this is what they want. This is what they really want, to divide the people in certain classes and to have the classes going against each other. And the lead, remember, if you look, the Hunger Games is really go home and watch it. It is the epitome of Agenda 2030. Because if you really know, remember the Hunger Games, in the city, there was rich, bunch of homosexual looking people, wasting food, had all this stuff going on. And then in the countryside, and remember, the black people was in a prison life. I told y'all, if you look at the Hunger Games, when they went to the black area, they were picking cotton. Look at it close, you'll see it. I said, they're taking us back to slavery. Black people picking cotton. And they divided them up in 12 divisions, which is about what the New World Order wants to divide the whole world up into 12 regions, or really 10 regions. Divide the whole world up. And so, and then make everybody broke and poor on the same level, and then everybody will funnel all of their resources into this rich city, which I believe that city is in Turkey. There's Azerbaijan, I think that's the city. I can't think of it. I don't pronounce the name, but it's a New World Order city. This city is built. Look it up. Look up New World Order city.
This is Turkmenistan, a beautiful country in Central Asia that borders Afghanistan, Iran, and Kazakhstan. Despite this beautiful architecture, these beautiful city streets, this city is mostly empty. Despite it looking like a tourist oasis, this is one of the least visited countries. Visiting there is no easy task to come by. It's quite expensive. You have to get a tour group, and the whole time you are strictly supervised and monitored in a guided tour. Even more so is the case if you want to move there. Acquiring a green card next to impossible. You have to know somebody, and it's a very, very lengthy and expensive process. having one of the 5th largest natural gas resources in the world. It was set up until recent times. Turkmenistan provided free energy to all of its people. And it makes you wonder, looking at some of this architecture. It's looking like futuristic free energy tech right out of the old world. And the stunning and geometric patterns continue on to the layouts of these buildings. Just take a look at it in Google Earth. You will be blown away by the intricate detail and sophistication and designs that went into these layouts. Our Western media tells us it's ran by a dictator.
Unbelievably, President Vladimir Putin in 2013 made Tartaria maps public, and in 2017 he also gave a map created by William Blah of Tartaria to the former president of Tatarstan, also known as Tartaria. So how did William Blah have such a clear picture of this country if it didn't exist? We learn about the famous Egypt, the Persian Empire, the Ottoman or Roman empires, but all of this history is small in comparison to the Tartarian Empire, unless it isn't true and it's just a myth or a story. But you can find too many documents that state this region certainly did exist. The landmass and territory called Tartary and Great Tartary was an historical location in northern Asia that existed between the Caspian Sea, the Ural Mountains and the Pacific Ocean. Tartary was a blanket term used by Europeans for the areas of central, northern and eastern Asia, as these parts were largely unknown to European explorers. Why the entire geographic territory was known simply as Tartary, and its inhabitants were called Tartars.